This episode of the Unmatched Style Podcast is sponsored by Sticker Mule.
So I got you Valentine.
Really? Why would you do that?
Because Valentine's Day, duh.
And apparently you get an emotional response from my friendship.
I do. And also, we're going to be talking about emotional web design today.
Robots and monkeys?
Not just robots and monkeys. Oh. Yeah. But robots and monkeys, we can do that. But also, there's the things we can put on our websites and web apps, like friendly copy, maybe some hand-drawn stuff. All the things that we can put in a site that might be kind of dry or boring that can help our users have a more pleasurable experience interacting with them.
That reminds me, you remember that time we talked to Aarron Walter at MailChimp?
I do.
Specifically about emotional web design?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. And a little later on, we're going to take a look at a few websites that do a really good job of focusing on emotional web design.
Hello and welcome to another Unmatched Style Podcast. I'm here with Aarron Walter.
Hi.
Of MailChimp.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the podcast, Aarron. You're working at MailChimp now. What are you doing for MailChimp?
I work on user experience, which is kind of broad, but it encompasses things like the experience of the application through the design, language, and like how a feature might work or where it might fit and so forth.
Okay. I imagine you enjoy working at MailChimp.
Yeah, it's a cool place. I mean, the cool thing is we have this policy. It's a written policy that we don't work with stupid people. So everybody here is really smart.
That's a good policy.
If you like the people you're working with, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Of course, it's nice that I do like what I do on a day-to-day basis,
right.
But it's even better when you've got really cool people that you can rely on, that are smart, that are great problem solvers and have creative ideas and stuff. So it's just a good energy. It feels good.
That's awesome. You're also writing a new book for A Book Apart.
Yeah.
What's the name of that book going to be?
So I'm working on a book for A Book Apart, and it's called Designing for Emotion. And it's kind of inspired by some of the ideas and things that we've learned here while working at MailChimp, just seeing how people respond to an application that has some sort of emotional engagement that makes it feel human.
Right.
And in researching that stuff while I was working, I started to see a lot of other applications that are starting to trend in that direction, that this is a pretty common thing. And so the book is basically about what's the psychology behind that? Why is that effective? How does that help an application become more usable, more memorable?
Right.
It's easier to learn, and it turns people into evangelists where they want to just talk about this experience, this positive experience they've had. So it's going to showcase a lot of examples of how that's working, and then talk about the science behind that.
Cool. I saw a comparison you made in, I think Vitamin article, a post that you wrote, where you compared 37 Signals interface to, say, Wufoo's interface to help really drive that image home of really fun interface versus kind of a utilitarian interface.
Right. I mean, the stuff that 37 Signals has done, I've been inspired by, and I've learned a lot.
Absolutely.
I think that they've got, they've been very smart about how they think about application development and design, and they're really brilliant copywriters, and they have basically honed down how to make an application do a task really well and really efficiently. And the point that I was making in the article is that should be a foundation for what we're doing. And now we can start to think about this additional layer that if we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and
right.
Human psychology, and what if we applied that to interface design and added this additional layer after there's, it's functional, that it could be funny, that an application could crack a joke, or maybe it uses design to create a sense of trust, like in the case of Mint.com, that has a really big challenge of trying to get people to sign up for a service that aggregates all of their financial information. That's kind of scary stuff. Yeah. So these sorts of ideas of thinking about emotion and human nature and how that stuff fits together, I think, is really fascinating. I feel like it's the side of usability. It's an important part of usability, but something that just does not really get thought about because we're so focused on let's just make this task easy to do, and that's fantastic. And Wufoo, I think they're really good at that. That they've got a clearly defined personality, and they let that shine through in the application experience.
So that book is from A Book Apart. When do you think you'll have that out?
That's a
Put you on the spot.
great question. It's in the works right now.
One day.
It will be sometime in 2011.
I'm looking forward to that book.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right. So let's take a look at some emotional web design in practice. Let's start off looking at MailChimp. The first thing you notice when you log in is Freddie von Chimpenheimer III.
Is that his name?
It is. It's up in the top right there. Overall, like when you're looking at this app, it's pretty straightforward. They've kind of sprinkled some stuff in. They're almost kind of like Easter eggs, right? You got Freddie in the top right who sends you a message, and then there's a thing in there where when you are looking at a email sample that you've made, it shows you the width that you should keep it within, and when you go too far, it like breaks the monkey's arm off and he bleeds all over you.
Right.
But what do you suppose the whole point of doing that is?
Well, sending emails is pretty boring, right? I mean,
depends.
There's all these there's all these apps out there that do it, and they kind of set themselves apart by they have this character. You can say like they make like hats, they make all kinds of like stuffed animals.
Yeah.
That like just kind of like cool stuff that you can identify with. When you bring it into like a web app that's kind of dry.
Yeah, it kind of is a new experience.
It adds a layer of kind of fun. Makes it just that much more pleasurable to use something.
All right, so the next site up that we want to look at is membership.thinkvitamin.com.
What is that?
Yeah, it's the blog Think Vitamin, right? Those personified people. Well, they have this. I don't know what you call it. It's like a subscription where they sell tutorials and information on how to build websites and things like that. But what they've done is right there on the top, they've added like a really cool icon with a message, and that's where they give away free stuff or give you system alerts and things like that. And they've even given away the little icons like as a downloadable pack.
Well, I think the thing that's cool about it is that it's a dry, kind of clean app. It's a bunch of white space, but they have these nice little. They're hand drawn.
Yeah.
They're little illustrations, and it's just a little bit of stuff to break you outside of that just rounded corners, boxes, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so the next one we want to take a look at is floridaflourish.com. And this is a really cool site, and we're really going to focus on just the homepage of this. But it has this tree. Like whenever you click on these little ribbon things that come out from the side, the tree might sway, might do this kind of fun little thing. So it's a really small little thing, but it's all about kind of like delighting a user. It's like giving them just a little bit of like extra thing to be like, oh look, that's kind of cool.
That's a good term to use, delight. Because this, that's a difference maker for a website. You come to a site, you can click, oh, it's usable, right? I think even Aarron talks about that. Usable is kind of like the analogy of like food is edible, right? Yeah. Well, no shit, my website should be usable, right? Delight, that's a great word, and I think that site really does that.
Next time we want to talk about is the many faces of. And so manyfacesof.com, and every month, every couple months, a few months, they focus on a person and usually some pop culture actor.
They've done like
something like that.
Alan Rickman, The Goonies, and they got Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and these are just a lot of fun. They kind of do these like graphs and charts and stats of these, and these are kind of cool illustrations of these actors. And so it's really kind of a pointless site when you get down to it.
There's no commercial reason for actually doing the site.
Yeah, but the thing is, a site like this, it makes you want to say like, who the heck did this?
That's right.
And so it's pretty easy to find because their information is at the bottom. It says,
that's right.
Who did it? So everybody, we look at actors like this, like we all watch movies and all this kind of stuff. So we have emotional reaction to this. So by kind of like by proxy, we're getting an emotional reaction to these people that they're talking about, and then we want to find out more about the creators of this.
That's right. So it's kind of ingenious, actually, if you think about it, the way they're going about introducing themselves to the community and staying in front of the community by sort of giving us this present, which is Leonardo DiCaprio's Many Faces of.
Yeah,
site.
Basically, this is like nothing but pleasure, right? It's nothing but there's no point to it.
That's gross.
But it's fun.
It's disgusting.
Pleasure? What do you have against pleasure?
Nothing.
Do you have a problem with pleasure?
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with pleasure.
I mean, you like my Valentine, right?
I did like your Valentine.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was that for this podcast, all about emotional design and Valentines.
Yes.
So
thank you, Jay.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching.